I've always had a certain amount of self-confidence, but I had this awful habit where my resting face, when I knew I was being photographed, was like this, because when you're like this, nobody can see all the lines that were on my face. I thought, oh, this is crazy. I can't walk around like this all the time. I need to do something. My name is Sandi Marks, and I live in New York City. I am a new grandma, and I'm a stand-up comedian and a storyteller. I was a performer when I was a young person. I was a dancer, but I wasn't really good enough. And then I became a talent agent. I got to work with wonderful, talented, smart people and helped shepherd their careers. I retired from being an agent. I had developed lupus. So I spent a few years raising my kids, which was an opportunity. I was the mom who danced too much at the bar mitzvahs. Being that I've always been a working woman, there was a point where I was getting really itchy to get back to doing something. And the one thing that I loved more than anything was making people laugh. I didn't start performing until I was 59 years old. After all these other, adventures and careers and raising kids, I really take pride in the fact that I'm pretty much the oldest one in the room, mostly all the time. There's only been one incident in the last 7 years where a young producer was walking me up on stage to perform, and he took me by the elbow as if I was too feeble to walk up the steps by myself. And I remember swatting him away. I didn't want to be rude, but it was like, who do you think you're dealing with here? I'm not in a nursing home yet.
There is nothing fashionable about a tennis dress with big pockets that say, I have balls.
About 3 years ago, I started noticing that gravity was really showing off and taking hold, and things were just kind of dropping. And I just looked tired. My neck had no definition anymore. It was basically, like a rooster. My eyelids looked sleepy. I had like those puppet creases on my face. So that was starting to really make me feel insecure about my look. I've always felt vibrant and young. Why should I look like a 66-year-old? When I don't feel like an age, I just feel like Sandi. And I thought, you know what, this can be fixed. This doesn't have to be like this.
The biggest thing that resonated with me is that Sandi was saying how she felt on the inside wasn't how she was looking on the outside. And she wanted to undergo facial rejuvenation surgery.
When I went in to meet him, I brought him pictures of what I looked like 10, 15 years ago. I wasn't going for what did I look like in high school. That would be silly. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to look like I did when I was 7, but I said, I just want to look back like that. This is the day before I went in for the surgery. This is seriously a rough picture. This is probably an hour before the actual surgery. Okay, this is exciting. Even though I still look like I'd been in a boxing match, I know I am going to look fantastic once everything settles down. And this is starting to show the proof. This is the Sandi that I missed. After my surgery, I started getting a lot of phone calls from people asking me lots of questions because they were considering doing it also.
I think a lot of times there's a little bit of a wall between a doctor and a patient. They just want to get a patient's perspective.
It was so easy for me to explain the process and how simple it is, and that the discomfort was just a few days and the results were so worthwhile. I mean, mostly people just said, God, you look great. Have you been sleeping a lot? And I would say, thank you. I just had my face done because I'm a comedian. I tell everybody everything. When I would get on stage before, when I was feeling a little self-conscious, I would open up every set with a joke about my face. Like, I don't have to do any of that now. It makes me feel like any self-deprecating humor that I'm projecting isn't coming from any kind of place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of confidence.
Finally, I see boeuf bourguignon. Now, I've never had it, but I see boeuf, so I like beef. I figure I'll have some boeuf. It's July. It's hot boeuf.
How are you?
I'm really good.
You look great.
Thank you, because of you.
Oh, thank you.
He's what we say Yiddish, a landsman. He's like a local boy. Like, we understand each other because we're from the same town.
And I thought it was neat seeing, here's my patient up there performing. That made me proud.
And I was happy that I could show him that my face actually moves after he did the work. I'm really proud of myself for having the courage to do it. Sometimes a small fix or a big fix can make an exponential change in your life. And I think that anybody, particularly women of my age, should feel empowered to not have to apologize for making changes. You have ownership of your own body. You have autonomy to do what you want. You should be able to do it and not feel like anyone's going to judge you for doing anything.